Namaskar, Jai Siyaram. Today we will discuss upon the topic of pain is inevitable but suffering is optional. Now, what is pain? Pain is something that will accompany us till the last breath, till the last moment of life. Now, let us take one example to understand what exactly pain is. Pain is translated as dukh or dukkha. For example, if you have some problem with your teeth or tooth and you go to a dentist and the dentist performs a dental surgery. So obviously the surgery will be a painful experience. You will definitely have to face bodily pain. But after the surgery is over, after 3, 4, 5 days, the place of the surgery will start to heal. But it may happen that you simply cling on to that particular thought process or you keep on remembering that process of surgery and do not let it go from your mind. You keep repeating that surgery in your mind, and that particular process is called suffering. Suffering means kast. Now, in our discussion, one thing is very clear that pain is inevitable. There are many types of pains. For example, the first type of pain is called adhyatmic. Adhyatmic pain comes from our emotions and feelings and attachments with the worldly things and worldly relations. The second is called adibhautik. Adibhautik pain is basically the pain of the body or bodily pain. For example, headache, backache. And body is a system that will definitely have its own pains. For example, pain in the tooth or teeth. And the third is called the pain that is adidevik. Adidevik means the pain that is inflicted by the natural calamities. For example, earthquake or tsunamis. So, the reason for discussing this classification of pain based on the Hindu philosophy was just to remind you that all these types of pains are inevitable. Life is full of struggle and pains will always be there. But when we choose not to cling on to these pains and come out of that experience at a spiritual level, what we can say is that we have gotten rid of suffering. Now, let's proceed with our discussion on how to deal with suffering, how to get rid of suffering. Step 0 of the model that I have developed in this particular connection is that there was a famous philosopher, French philosopher, his name was René Descartes. René Descartes once said, cogito ergo sum, that translates as I think and therefore I am. It simply means because I think I am, I exist. And that something is the self. So when you doubt about your existence, who is that who doubts about your existence? I mean, if you doubt, who am I? Then the question arises, who is that who doubts, who am I? So obviously it is the self. In short, this logic proves that we exist. So there is no question that we do not exist. I mean, it is important to prove this at a philosophical level, given the discussion that we are having. Now, once that it is proven that we exist, that brings me to the famous quote of the Buddha. The Buddha once said that existence is the cause of suffering. In other words, I suffer because I exist. The self suffers because it exists. Now, why is it so that because I exist, I have to suffer? Or why is it that the existence itself is the cause of suffering? To that, once again, I would like to quote Buddha. He says that it is the attachment that causes this suffering. It is the second noble truth of the Buddhism. The reason for the suffering is the attachment. the clinging on to the worldly desires. Clinging on to anything leads to suffering. Now, the thing is, then how to deal with this type of suffering that comes because of existence, the existence that is attached to the worldly desires, that clings on to the materialistic things. So, for that, once again, I would like to quote Buddha. He said that you become what you think and I become what I think. So ultimately, the only way to get rid of suffering, ultimately to get rid of suffering, one must purify one's thoughts. Because once thoughts are purified, obviously the existence will be purified. Because ultimately, I exist because I think. That means the quality of my existence depends on the quality of my thoughts. So, purifying the thoughts is very, very important. It follows the basic principle of garbage in, garbage out. Now, once you have purified your thoughts and purified your existence, then the next step is to let go everything. When I say everything, I also mean let go even your existence. Practically speaking, it means forget and forgive everything that is happening. And don't worry if that makes you feel weak or that makes you look weak. Just do it so that you don't cling on to anything. Let go everything. That way you will get rid of even your carvings and attachment to the worldly desires. And in the end, when you have let go everything, the suffering will also be gone. Now, the suffering has ended, but what about the pain? See, because you have purified your thoughts and existence, and because you have let go everything, that means now you are aware of the reality. You have awakened. So it will allow you to easily make peace with the pain. Now you will be able to easily understand that whenever you undergo a surgery, there will be pain. But with this process, you will not actually continue to cling on that pain and suffer again and again and again. So let us summarize the whole model very quickly. Step 0 is you think, therefore you exist. There is no way to deny that existence. Number 1, existence is the cause of suffering due to the attachment and carving. Number 3, purify your thoughts. It works on the Gigo principle, garbage in, garbage out. Number 4, let go of everything, even your existence. Forget and forgive. Don't worry if it makes you look weak. Just make sure that you do not cling on to anything and you get rid of all your attachment and carvings. And in the end, because the suffering has ended and pain is still left, make peace with that pain. So, it will be your purified existence which has made peace with the pain. It has accepted the pain as it is. And it also makes sure that there is no suffering due to pain because suffering is a choice. So, I hope this delivery has helped you to understand the pain and suffering from the philosophical perspective. Thank you very much. Jai Siya Ram.